No pressure, but we have a whole week of content of a stream every day and a video every day. What's going on YouTube? Today we're giving you guys a video on the market watch for the month of January going into 2023. It's going to be a crazy year, hopefully better than both 2020, 2021, 2022. It'll get better, right guys? One can hope. But today we're going to be going over the market, which I think is going to be very, very interesting for this month. And I actually made ourselves a little bit of a cheat sheet here. So the reason I made this Word document, not only to help articulate my thoughts, because sometimes I almost need to write scripts out. You guys know that I love tangents and rambles, is because I think it also highlights some important items, which we'll go over as to like what could be selling, but it also gives a very good synopsis as to this month specifically, what's going on in this month that's going to be different than the previous months, why in the world, you know, what do I need to know specifically for the month of January. So, as you can see, I basically go straight into it. I'm like, the developers are tantalizing us. They're alluding to these amazing content things that they're going to be putting in for the entirety of 2023, which is going to have a massive impact on the Elder Scrolls game. What they tell us in the month of January is going to have wholesale changes for the rest of the year. And unfortunately, that makes it a little bit difficult to kind of gauge as to what specifically then is going to happen. However, we can at least know that there are going to be a lot of hype surrounding the game going into the announcement, because a lot of people are very hopeful that they're promising two features that they've said that people have wanted for a long, long time. So I personally am ready to have it. Now, you can also look at this too, as they also haven't released the events. There could be an event in the month of January. They could do something like Mid-Year Mayhem at the end of the month. They could do something like an Elsewhere event, which they've hinted that they may do. So take that with a grain of salt. Also, that we don't know which events may also be done in the month of January, besides obviously the New Life event, which is coming to a close. In addition to that, the new players coming into the game are still coming in, trickling in. The holiday period is the highest player count period for the entire, pretty much any MMO, honestly. Anyway, Elder Scrolls Online is not unique to that. So this is a higher player count, which means not necessarily that a specific item or something is going to sell more for, because more people across the board means more buyers and more sellers. That's why this list that I'll be going over with you is so important. The other thing too is that if they actually do hint and give us something massive that's going to completely reshape the end game, I would highly suspect that we're going to see a huge return of end game players or mid to end game players who are looking to really get back into the swing of things and get back into Elder Scrolls Online. Even if we don't have, you know, a new class or a new, you know, endless whatever, or completely reshape PvP or yada 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 until later down the road, people are still going to want to kind of trickle back in these months, because the winter period of the months when people have the most time off work, the most holidays, etc., they're going to be coming back and they're going to be using this time to help get their characters ready statistically. Now, obviously, people are very finicky. I know that through my job, so I can't guarantee you what people's behaviors will be, but I can at least give you a little bit of insight based on what I was able to see online. So, the reason that I have made this list, for those of you who have not seen this list before, I've showed you guys on stream, is basically this is a list of everything that I think that has a really good chance to sell. So you'll notice that this is a lot of things. Just the consumables alone, there's quite a few consumables here that could sell. What should you do with this list is probably the more important question that you should be asking yourself. And when there's a lot of players returning to the game, the biggest thing that you need to know, for example, is pick any of these items. There could be 10,000 Bewitched Sugar Skulls listed in Mournhold, or there could be a couple. That is the important thing that you guys need to take away from this. Same with anything else on this list throughout the entirety of it. The biggest thing about trading is not always just understanding what the supply and demand is. It's also to understand what the current supply is in your specific server and what your competition is and your profit margins. Especially if you're making something, that's more of a consumables thing, because if you're making Bewitched Sugar Skulls, obviously you're going to be, you know, getting the ingredients for them, you're going to be losing money. Whereas if you're farming something like Plague Doctor, I mean, The cost is only the amount of time that you put in. So just take that first piece of the bit of grain of salt, but this also goes over potions as well as a bunch of other things as well. The biggest highlights from here too is these sets. I definitely encourage you guys to take a look at these sets here and see if any of these you think are not currently listed, especially Frostbite. I know I've been hitting you guys over the head with how good I think this set is, but just as a reminder, this is an amazing set to sell. If there's not a lot of listings, people are flocking to this set because there are so many people suggesting this for endgame PvP that it is worth getting into. Same with things like the Back Alley Gorman set, pretty popular. Savara Scales, Unfathomable Darkness, Bright Throat, Crafty. Like, these are all really, War Maiden especially. Oh. And as we get to the new combat patch update, which has been hinted at, once we know if the meta is going to be a little more tanky, is it going to be a little less tanky, is it going to be more burst, is it going to be emphasized on procs, whatever they change, which classes, rise and fall, down the rankings, that will severely impact which PvP sets will sell. For example, sets like Pariah on this list also sell really well when there's a more bulky meta because it's a great set. For example. So keep all this with a grain of salt. This is just goes into some of the things that you can sell from the non-PvP Imperial City areas and then the Imperial City. Also, crafted sets. As people come into the game, a lot of people unfortunately don't understand the ESO economy, and they want these crafted sets, but they have no idea how to get them, what goes into getting these things. So keep that in mind also, because a lot of times you can list up these sets with almost no cost to yourself. List up a couple pre-made pieces. You don't even have to enchant them half the time. You certainly can. You might be able to eke out more gold, but a lot of times people will just come to traders and buy them. As long as they're the right level that they need, which is generally going to be 160, you're going to be able to sell these pretty easily if there's not a lot of other conflicting listings for you. And then finally, we have treasure maps, modus, materials, companion gear, writ books, writ voucher items, and furniture. This is all very dependent, and this is obviously a very big list in the other category. Treasure maps has its own dedicated video because there are a lot of good treasure maps. Basically, if you have a treasure map that's from Blackwood onward, it's worth a lot of gold. That's all you need to know. Motifs, always appraise your motifs before you list them. There's some great dungeons that you can farm. I also have a video on that, which motifs that you could farm for gold. Materials, they'll depend heavily. If you're playing on PC, materials are going to skyrocket, as they always do. If there's a lot of endgame players that return, you could see a material rise increase, but if you play on console, the bots are just crazy. Companion gear, might be okay for this month, but I think the majority of people coming back will already have companions and won't see a great use for them. Writ books, unless they announce the Zenthar event coming up, I think writ books will be very similar. Writ voucher items, very similar too, until we have either something new in the writ voucher vendor or we have new crafted sets coming to the game. Relatively simple. Furniture, though, is an interesting one. I almost feel like I need to make a furniture sales video dedicated to itself. I might do that just because of how complicated furniture selling is. So if you're interested in that, please leave it in the comments below. But if more endgame players do return to the Elder Scrolls Online, you will see a massive uptick in furniture sales because one of the forms of endgame furniture sales. So let me know what you guys think. We've just done our drawing for the month of December. If you would be like to enter into the month of January, all you have to do is leave a comment on this video and any video you want until January 31st, and then we do our drawing February 1st. So if you would like to be entered, leave a comment in the comments below. Here's the winners for the month of December. If this is you, reach out to me via Discord, via the pinned comment, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. We'll either do the stream first or maybe we'll do the video first, Let's see how we're feeling. We'll get crazy with it. Bye, guys.
You better remember to like and subscribe to Jake Clips. Or you should. I might have to pluck your eyes if you don't. Or, better yet, I'll skip rope with your entrails. Do it now. Subscribe. Ta-ta. Off with you.
For those of you who stay, let me know if you have any feedback on the end game or the end title card thing. It's a work in progress. Oh, you guys get to see the cat if you're here in the end. Oh, she's being a void in the couch, but nope. She's being pet right now. So this is why you stay past the end credits. You get these post-credit scenes like a Marvel Universe. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Let me know what you guys think of the end card. And again, suggestions, ideas. I got a whole week of videos coming up. We're looking at the Emperor Guide, how to get into PvP, a speed build set. We got a whole bunch of things that we're working on. But you guys let me know what you want to see, because this is definitely the week to do it. And I'll see you guys there. Bye, guys.